there everyone, it's Kathy Champion. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Gastonia, North Carolina. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you so much. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified anytime that a video goes up. You can ring that bell and it will give you an opportunity to choose how you get notifications, which is great. This is the card we're going to be working on today. Is this not the cutest thing ever? It looks a little intimidating. Look at that little chickadee popping up inside. So cute. This is not an original idea of mine. I saw this on another Stampin' Up demonstrator site. Dawn Griffin, she does great work. I see a lot of her things and I fall in love with just about everything that she does. But I loved this card. I thought it was so unique and just, brilliant. Look at this. What a beautiful happy birthday card. I thought it was precious. So this is what we're going to be making today. I want to go through a few things. I know we're coming up on the end of what month is it? January. I'll get it out in a minute. And here is our host code for January. And if you spend $50 before shipping and tax in my online Stampin' Up Store, then use this host code and you will receive a free thank you gift from me that will be shipped out sometime in the month of February. I always do my gifts the month after, so that way I can tally everything, see exactly who's going to get a gift, and I will mail you out something. It could be a 6x6 paper pack, it could be some gems, it could be a ribbon. It will be something Stampin' Up that you can use in your craft room. So with that being said, and with this little card in front of us, let's go ahead and get started. So this is what we're going to need to assemble this card, and I went ahead and pre-cut all of my pieces because there is a lot of die cutting in this, and I do have some other pieces that I am going to cut on camera, but I want to show you the different elements on this card. It looks like it's a lot, but once you get your pieces down what you need, and I'll make sure I list everything and the color that I use for each piece, that'll make it a lot easier. Our card base is a standard A2 size card, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and it's going to be a landscape card, so it's going to open like this. The mat for the front is 4 by 5 1/4, and this is going to be our front mat. Then we have a 1-inch strip that measures 5.5 by 1, and then for our inside we have two pieces that are our standard mat size, 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to have one for the top and one for the bottom, just like that. And then we have I used the heavy, the thick basic white to cut this, and you're going to need to cut a piece that is 2 3/4 by 3.5. And by doing this, it's going to give you, and let me zoom you in just a little bit, it's going to give you this little rectangle, and then you're going to turn your rectangle into your trimmer, slicing it from the top right corner to the bottom left corner. So when you put it into your trimmer, and let me show you how I did that. And I've already cut this piece, so it's not like I can cut it again, but I can show you what I did. So on this top right, so just remember your top right, you're going to put that into your track first, just like that, and you're going to line up that bottom piece down here. And once you've got them lined up and you're sufficiently sure that that's good and straight, then you're going to close this. And I usually like to go into the middle. You're going to close it down and then slice it. And then you're going to have these two little triangle pieces. Now these pieces are very important, so you're going to want to put these with your templates so that you can have them to use over and over. Alright, so the next thing that we have is our pieces. I cut 3 of the fences and 1 of the signs, and I cut out with my circle punches a 1.5 inch circle, and I stamped Let's Celebrate You. And then I punched out a 2 inch circle. I'm sorry. This is 1.5 and this is 2. And we're going to build this up to make a focal point. So what I want to do is behind this one, I'm going to use some of my Stampin' Seal. And this is the plus. I do prefer the plus over the rest of it. So I'm just looking to see which way my words are going. And I'm going to hold this up like this so that I can make sure that I'm getting everything nice and straight. And I'm going to put my corn stalk right behind there, just like that. And then we're going to want to stick this little chicken wire down behind it. So I'm just going to put another little piece of adhesive. And I want to try to get this nice and even if I can. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to put this piece behind it, something like that. Only we're going to need more adhesive. And I want to hold this up when I'm putting it on because I want to make sure I'm getting the nice little border all the way around. And that looks good. So now we're going to pop this up on dimensionals. Now I'm just going to put them on for now so they'll be ready for the card when we get it finished. We still got some prep work to do on the card. We also have a few pieces that we cut out, that I stamped and colored. Here is my little birthday chick. Isn't she cute? With her balloon tied to her tail feathers. And then we've got our little crazy bird that's eating his cupcake, or her cupcake. The little baby bird's just happy, and he's dancing and singing. And we have one more, because we're going to need 2 of these little chickadees with the balloon. One is going to go inside and one outside. So those are all stamped and colored and ready to cut. And this is the most stinkingest cute thing I've ever seen in my life. This little tiny corn stalk, or corn, look at that. Is that not precious? I'm going to go ahead and put this together, and I think I'm going to use a glue dot on that because it is small. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these little dots, and I want to kind of roll it over onto itself a little bit. And then I picked it up with the end of my take your pick. And all I'm going to do is put this back here. And then I'm going to get my little corn. And I'm going to come right to the back and tack that corn into that little shuck. And there's what we have. How cute. I love this. And we're going to probably put this piece on here. It just looks like a good place for a piece of corn. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to need to do is work on the mechanism itself. Now, the mechanism itself is going to work. Now, we're going to have a lot to do, but when you make this template, this is going to make your life so easy. Because we're going to put that 3.5 inch side here and the 2 3/4 inch side on this outside. So we're going to have something like that. Now what I like to do is put a pencil mark. So I'm just very, very shallow. And once you're satisfied with that, and I can see my line, then we are going to take this back to our trimmer. And we'll take all my other little pieces and lay them over here, just so I don't lose them. Now we're not going to cut this, but we are going to score it. So what we need to do is go from this corner this top angle cut down to the bottom, and we are going to score this. And don't be afraid to score because you're going through 2 pieces of paper. And what I like to do is bend it back first and then bend it forward. And then when you open it, you're going to want to push this piece in just like that and just let the paper do the work. You don't have to do too much to this because it is good to go. Alright, I think we're good with that for right this minute. So I'm going to take my bone folder and I want to press this down really, really good. I'm going to go inside and do the same thing. Alright, and this is our mechanism now. This is going to be what's going to cause our card to pop. So, the next thing we need to do is this piece right here. We need to cut that piece off. And in order to do that, we're going to come back to our template again. Alright, so we're just going to lay this down even on here. Just like that. Again, grab your pencil, and I'm just going to make a tick mark at the top and the bottom of this because, again, we're going to line this up in our trimmer, but this time we're not going to score, we're actually going to trim this away. So let's line up that tick mark and that tick mark. And now we should have a mat that will fit on here beautifully. And we have our 2 outside pieces that need to be cut as well. I mean inside pieces. These are our 2 pieces for the inside. And on this white piece we need to cut, this is actually going to go into the bottom of our card, so pay attention to that when you're slicing these off. This piece is going to be sliced off at the top, and the piece up here is going to be sliced at the bottom. So let me show you how I did that. I did the same thing I did on my crumb cake piece. I lined up my template, and I made a tick mark at the top, and a little tick mark right here. And then that lets me know that I need to go from that mark to the other mark to cut my angle. So I'm going to slide that into my trimmer, just like so. Once I get it where I'm satisfied with it, I'm going to go ahead and sink that blade and cut. Now this piece should fit perfectly right here. And it does, that's a nice fit. Then we got this piece that we can use for the piece up here, but this doesn't quite fit, so I'm going to show you how you can take about 1/4 inch off of this. Let's do it this way, and that way we'll have that little top lip there to push against it. Now let's see if this will fit. Okay, we're going to take 1/4 inch off of the other side. So really you need a 1/2 inch, but I'm going to take it off on each side to kind of keep it in proportion. And then that fits just like that. Cool, huh? I think so. So now we need to do the other piece, and remember this is going to come off of the bottom edge. So again, let's take our template and make sure we're cutting it the right way. Yeah, like this. So lay this down just like that. Take your pencil, make your tick mark. And then bring this to your trimmer. And we're going to line that up. Oh, I've lost my tick marks. Okay, here and here. So you're going to line it up this way. And slice. And now you have the piece for... Sometimes you have to really think through this, and you have to turn your pieces, or you think, oh no, I've really messed up. But in actuality, I hadn't. And we do need to cut this piece down because we know it's too big to fit in here this way. So this is the one that needs to be cut down. So let's try doing it the 1/2 inch off of this side and see if that will work. That just may work. And it did. And there's our mats for the inside. But before we get everything matted down, we do need to do a little bit of handiwork. And I think before I get started, I am going to use my dies and cut out my pieces that I've already colored. As I told you earlier, before we got started, this bundle will be available February the 2nd for everyone to purchase. And this was a couple years ago, one of the celebrations, and I think it was so popular that they decided to bring this one back. Now, the birthday chick and the dies are in the mini catalog now. So if you want these, you can go and order those now. But you can get this as a bundle, both stamps and both dies that coordinate. And you can get those February the 2nd. And I think they're absolutely precious. They go together. The dies are the bomb. And these dies are dies that could stand alone. They work so well. But let's go ahead and take my birthday chick dies. I will take out my one that will cut my chickadee and my balloons, all the good stuff. Once I think I've got it lined, I'm going to use my little flags. These are my little post-it note flags that work so well for me. And this is just going to hold this down. And I'm going to go ahead and pull off my little chick. I'm going to go ahead and get as many of these cut in one slice as I possibly can. So we need another Alright, so the only thing left to do is to get the die that cuts this gorgeous little girl that's chomping away on her little cupcake. And I'm going to lift that flag up. Sometimes getting these lined up can be the hardest part of this whole process because you really want this to cut really well. Alright, we're going to go with that. And I'm going to take this whole piece over to my die machine and I'm just going to run it through. Alright, that one's done. So I'm going to pull off this one and go ahead and pop her through. And look how stinking cute that is. I love that little chickadee. So we're going to do the same thing again over here. I'm going to place this die. I like to take my time when I'm putting these pieces down because after all I've already put a lot of time in this by stamping, drying it, and coloring it. So I want to take my time and make sure that I get everything lined up. It looks a little tedious, but I think it's well worth it in the long run. A little snap, crackle, and pop going on over here, but not too bad. Alrighty, so now we can pull these pieces off. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces cut. Here's our little balloon with the front piece on. I'm going to lay all of my dies over here. I like using these Post-it notes because they do not tear your paper, and that's always a good thing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put my dies back on here because when you're working with two sets, it's very, very easy to get them crossed up, and I don't want that to happen. So there are those, and I'm going to lay this over here. And now I actually think that we're ready to start assembling our card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these pieces here outside. And I'm going to fold it. And this card is going to open this way, and everything's going to pop up right here. So the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and mat that front. So I'm going to close it down with that angle fold, and I'm going to grab my crumb cake mat that I had cut. We're going to use some liquid glue for this because liquid glue will give us a little bit more wiggle room, and we're going to need a little bit of that in order to get this down where we want it. So now I am going to put this right here. And I'm going to give that a good press. I'm just going to iron it out with my hands. Isn't that cute? So now what we need to do is run this 1-inch strip from side to side. Alright, now this piece, I want it to come up just a hair. And it's going to go from corner to corner. But before we do that, let's go ahead and build our fence on here. And I think I'm going to use glue dots to put my fence down with. Pay attention because this fence has a right side and a wrong side. I'm going to bring up and I'm going to show you the wrong side and the right side and see if you can tell the difference. Okay, this is the right side. See the wood planks? It looks like wood. And this is more smooth. It's got a little bit of texture in it, but you can tell it's nowhere near what that is. So make sure you have your little fence going in the right direction. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and commit to this. I'm going to take some glue dots, and I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool because it's like my best friend in my craft room. And I'm just going to pull off and maybe just roll it a little bit. And I'm going to probably use about 3 of these on the back of my fence. There's one. Put one right there. And let me zoom y'all in so you can see what I'm doing. I think that would be a good idea at this point. I've just got to remember to zoom y'all back out when I get ready to get everything put together so you can see. And that little glue dot's going to go right there. Now I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put this right about here, halfway. And I'm going to be real careful to get my fence as straight as I can. And then this one is going to butt right up against that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab my glue dots. if you haven't used your glue dots in your craft room with making your cards and what have you, oh my goodness, you're missing out on a treat. These things are so handy to have. They work so well, and these are the mini glue dots, so they're small. That's why I use them for little tiny things like this that can be a little tedious, and it keeps you from having to work with you know, liquid glue. Sometimes with something like this, liquid glue can be really messy, although I have done it. Alright, let go of my finger. Now I'm going to butt this one right up against that other little fence right there, and I'm going to bring this down and press. See how nice that's building our fence? Now this one I'm going to do the same thing, but as you can see, we're going to have some that's going to cut off right there, and that's okay. So I'm going to put glue dots from this side over to about there, because we know that all of this is going to get cut away. In fact, I'm going to put myself a little, just a little pencil mark to know that I don't need to put it any further than there. So I'm going to put one here, and one over where I'm going to cut. So maybe right about there. And then I'm going to butt it again right up against here. And press it. And now all we need to do is take our paper snips. And I'm going to snip that off right there on that pencil line. Look how nice and neat that went on there. That looks really good. Alright, let me zoom y'all back out. Whoops, wrong way. Alrighty, I just wanted you to see, you know, how this was going to go on. Now this is going to go from side to side all the way across, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal for this, and I'm going to put a piece at the bottom and a piece at the top. I'm going to open my card up because that will give me a better chance of getting this nice and straight. And what I'm doing is I want to bring it all the way to the edge of the card, and then all the way to the edge over here, and press it down. It's looking good. It's starting to look good. Now I want to put my little chick on here, and I think I want the one with the pink balloon to go about here, but I want to be cautious of my balloon. So if you look on your grid paper, and if you don't have a grid paper, you can just make yourself a little area. We know that we don't want this to go any higher than 4 inches, or 4 1/4. So I'm going to be very cautious to make sure that I keep my little balloon right about there. So I'm going to glue her down right here, and I used my grid paper. By putting this all the way down, I can look at this up here. Let me pan out just a little bit and see this square right here. This is 5 1/2, and this is 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 is the length that we have, the height that we have. So I don't want this little chick to go any higher than that 4 1/4. Just like that. So I'm going to pop her up on dimensions. And we're not going to put anything on the balloon. We're just going to do it on the chickadee herself. This card is going to be so cute and so much fun. Alright, again, I'm going to bring my card over here. And I got to remember, as I set this down, I don't want this to go any further than my 4 1/4. Because if I do, it's going to cause me problems in my envelope. So that's why we don't want it to go any further. And that looks good right there at 4. Now we need to put our little sentiment right here. But before I do that, I want to stamp a little bit of this confetti, and I want to do it tone on tone. So I'm going to use my crumb cake. And let's grab this little stamp block. And I'm just going to ink up, and I'm just going to stamp and stamp and stamp, just getting that little confetti all over the place. Just to make it a little more fun. I think that was cute. Stamp off really quick. And let's close up my ink. Alright, so the other thing, you know, we built this a while ago and we got it popped up. So we're going to put this right about here. Let's celebrate you. So I've already got some dimensions. I think I want to put one more just to kind of balance it out right there. I'm just going to pull out these backers. And we're going to set this down right about here. Look how stinking cute that card is. I love it. I love it. I love it. Alright, now we're going to open it up because we need to work on the inside. But before we do that, let's look at our pieces that we're going to put in, because we need to stamp before we go any further. We need to stamp these pieces. So I like to get them laid out in here so that I know where I stamp is where I'm going to want my pieces to go. So let's look at our sentiments. And I love this one that says you're still a spring chicken. And we're going to put that one right there, and that's where our little chickadee is going to go. You're still a spring chicken. So let's pull this over, and my black ink. And I didn't show myself stamping all of the items because there is a lot of stamping here. So I thought, you know, I'd be better just to go ahead and stamp and color these ahead. But all of this was very easy to do. It was not hard at all. So we're going to stamp this right about here. Love it. And let me look. In the Hey Chick, there's a little one that says have a happy day. We're going to pull that one out because we want to stamp that on our little sign. So on our little, what did I do with it? It's right here. And see, this is small enough that that will fit on that sign, which I think is so cute. I am loving these, the little chicks. I think they're just adorable. So I'm going to stamp that. I re-inked my ink pad and I got it a little bit too juicy. So I'm trying to be cautious when I stamp, especially on a die piece. I love that. Have a happy day. Alright, so that worked out good. And I think this piece is ready to go in. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to use a little, I think I'll use the liquid glue. I like having that little wiggle room when I'm putting a piece in that's not completely straight. So let's, you don't want to use a whole lot of the glue, just enough to get yourself, you know, stuck in. Giving yourself the border that you need. See how forgiving that was? That let me move that around in there. That's working, so that's good. Alright, so we're going to put this little bird right over here by the You're Still a Spring Chick. I'm not going to use dimensions because I don't want this to be any more bulky than it is. Because with the fold and everything, this can get a little bit on the bulky side. And I'm just going to put that right there. Oh, so cute. I am loving it. Alright, I want to do Happy Birthday. And I want the Happy Birthday up on the piece that's going to go at the top. So let's pull that piece over. What did I do with it? Right here. And now we know this piece is going to go like that. So I can go ahead and stamp Happy Birthday up here. And this little chick is going to go right here. So Happy Birthday. And y'all, look what I did. I put my Happy Birthday on upside down. So what I did is I took a pen, and I don't know if you can see that. It was a silver pen. And I put an arrow to remind me when I stamp this to stamp it upside down. If not, I'm going to have an upside down Happy Birthday. And that's never a good thing. So, you know, those things happen. Even to people that are supposed to be professionals. But you want to know what? We're not professionals. We are just like you. We just do videos. So it's one of those things that happens. So if you ever put your yours on backwards or upside down or whatever, don't fret. Just fix it. Just make yourself a little arrow or something on your stamp to say, uh-oh, I did a boo-boo. So I'm going to put Happy Birthday right there. Very nice. And then we're going to use some liquid glue on the back of this little chickadee. And look at her. Is she not adorable? I love it. I love the personality in this stamp set. If you love little characters and you love building scenes on a card, oh my goodness, you can have so much fun with this set. I'm going to bring those dies back over and show them to you. Put her right there. Alright, so now this piece is ready to go right here. Again, I'm going to use my liquid glue. Just so I can give myself a little bit of wiggle room when I put this in. And I'm going to lay that in right like that. So cute. I am loving it. Alright, now we want to put this piece here and this piece here. And you have to turn, whoops, that's not right. You have to turn your pieces to get them the right direction, because it can be a little challenging. Alright, that one goes there, so let's go ahead and put some glue on it. And get it stuck down right here. See what I mean about not wanting to add any more bulk to this card, because it is already, yep, that one goes like that, so glue goes on this side. I think you got enough going on that you don't need to have any more bulk. Look at that. Is that not the cutest little card? And we're not done yet because we haven't put the good little pop-up in here yet. So here is our little sign, and we want the sign to be right behind her. So I'm going to use another glue dot, and I'm going to put this right behind her little arm or her hand, her foot, whatever that little thing is that's sticking out right there. I think it's a foot. So I'm going to put that glue dot right there, and then I'm going to stick the sign into it just like that. And then she's going to go in. What I'm doing is folding her down to make sure that she's going to work right there, and she will. She'll work right there really, really well. So I know that I'm going to put glue on her bottom half. So right there. And I'm just going to press that to make sure that she is adhering. How stinking cute. Now, this idea was not mine, and I'm not going to take credit for something that wasn't mine. This was actually, I saw a Dawn Griffin do this very same card, and I copied it verbatim. So, but I think it's just so cute. So, so cute. Look at that. Such a fun little birthday card. Now, I think this piece right here would do you better if you did it out of a heavier cardstock. And I may even go back in and cut another piece to go behind this to make that more stable. I think that piece needs to be a little bit more stable than what it is. So, you know, and that's something we can do. But if I had making this card again, I will definitely want to put something a little more sturdy back there. Okay, thank y'all so much for bearing with me. This was quite a video, and it was a lot of components, but look at that. Look at that. So, so stinking cute. Love it, love it, oh, we forgot something. Our little piece of corn. And I want to put that right there, and I almost forgot. I'm going to do a glue dot on this as well, because I just need a little something. I'm going to kind of roll that a little bit, and I'm going to stick it down right there. And then this little corn, how cute, how cute. It's going to go right there. Our finishing touch. How cute is that card? A little angle fold pop-up card. So, so cute. I love it in the landscape. I love the fact that it was angled off and not just a straight card. This is just too cute for words. So, if you love this card, please give me a comment. This will fit into a standard envelope. You do have to be a little more careful because of the balloon and everything, but I'm going to cut another piece and stabilize this balloon, because if not, this balloon is going to get knocked off, I'm afraid. But anyway, I love the card. I think it's stinking cute. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you love it. And until we craft again, God bless and keep you. And as I always say, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven, because He is so worthy. So think about that when you let words fly out of your mouth? Is it bringing glory to our Father? If not, don't say it. God bless and keep you. I love you all so much. And until we craft again, bye-bye.